Let's get some analysis now with Mahjoob Zweiri, who's a professor of contemporary Middle East politics at Qatar University. Really good to have you back with us, Professor. Can we start with this escalating humanitarian catastrophe that's unfolding in Gaza? These so-called humanitarian hubs run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation are proving to be very much the opposite, because hundreds of aid seekers are now being targeted in Israeli attacks. We know that the so-called GHF is proving to be a shadowy organization. Even Israeli politicians are trying to find out exactly who's behind it. What is the motivation behind this new aid distribution center that really is only seeing hundreds of Palestinians being shot and injured?
You know, Oscar, the whole project came after a severe pressure and continuous pressure on Israel because of basically the strategy they followed since March, was basically closing all borders completely. And because of the European and American pressure on them, they came up with this project where basically it's not clear who's behind it. There are some reports say that there is a $100 million being put for this project from a country in the region, no name for this country. They know that this the whole company or the whole institution or organization is registered in the United States. I saw a recent report that they want there the correspondents of one of the TV stations, and they couldn't find anyone. They found one person who said you have to call their lawyers. So basically, the whole thing is to allow Israel continue killing Israelis, killing Palestinians in all other places, and at the same time bringing Palestinians to kill them on those hubs. So basically, it was obvious that there was an AI programs to face identification, and these information provided to the Israelis so they can have more targets. There are a very clear plan that there will be no hubs in the northern Gaza to force people in northern Gaza to leave. So basically, the ethnic cleansing can be achieved, and then basically they can empty the northern Gaza, which is failing now. And more importantly, is keeping Washington and Trump quiet for a while until they can find exit strategy of what they do. Because of two things. One, there is a huge recognition now globally that this war is a Netanyahu war, will not go anywhere. Secondly, the more they kill of the Palestinian, the more Israeli will be isolation, and the more of any country support Israel will be isolated, and it will be a matter of time.
Well, that's right, because as you say, in the lead up to the, I guess, the development of this new aid system, we even had leaders such as Donald Trump calling for more aid to enter Gaza. You do really wonder, don't you, how much longer this can go on before world leaders speak up again about the situation in Gaza. But I want to ask you about this failed peace process that we seem to have forgotten about, largely at least in the mainstream media, because we've had successive rounds of talks between representatives from Hamas and Israel failing to agree to any sort of a truce or a return to the truce that Israel initially agreed to but then soon broke. What, in your view, is the thinking behind that truce process? Does one even exist right now?
What I know that there are some talks going on in the light of two major facts. One, no short-term truce will succeed, and number two, there should be a long-term ceasefire, which basically means ending the war, and that is basically what Hamas wants. Now, all of the discussion coming in those points, how they can find, I would say, an exit strategy between those 2 points. The Israelis, the Americans, the Europeans, they have realized, and I have discussions with people, they realize that this short-term truce will not succeed anymore. Because if they have the 60 days and the war restart again, the whole thing will falling apart, and the more they kill Palestinians, the more there will be ramification globally. So basically, having a short term should be out of the table. Now we come up to the second scenario, which ending the war. What does Israel can